Starting a business in the UK, growing a business in the UK is already challenging enough as it is. So if your business provides services that can be procured by the government, you already understand you need to bid for opportunities to work with the government, if that's on a tender, to join a framework, or to win a contract. So this myth and misconception that contracts or these government tenders are only suitable for large organizations, huge enterprises, is what will cost your business if you actually believe it, and if that's the reason why you're not bidding for opportunities. The reason I can say this is because my name is Divine and I've been working with startups, small businesses, businesses who literally have just been set up a week ago, right through to large enterprises and franchises, to help them win contracts, grow their business through the government. So I can categorically say this with confidence that it is not the case if you believe that government contracts are only meant for huge organizations. It's simply not the case. Now, let's just get one thing right off the bat straight. There are always exceptions. Before someone says, my grandma's auntie's best friend lost an award, a contract award, because a company, her competitor is 10 years old and the procurement manager said this and that, blah, blah, blah. Yes, there are always exceptions, but the exception is not the rule. For the most part, even if you were to bid for any of these opportunities, yes, you might have the ones that are single contract awards, which means they're only looking for a single company to work with. You've also got opportunities that are frameworks where potentially it's 2, 3, 4 suppliers. Others, it's a list of suppliers, might be 10, 20. And you've actually got some opportunities that are endless list of suppliers. Anyone can join. The point is, the council, the government, the authorities will always have opportunities geared for small businesses, startups, which means even if you're not the only person delivering that service, you're going to be part of a list of suppliers for that service. So there's always room to join and work with the government. That's one thing we need to get clear. Now, the most important thing you need to focus on if you're a new business, you're about to start a business, or you're looking to grow your business, and you now understand that, look, I'm going to consider bidding on these government opportunities. The most important thing you need to focus on is not how large, how big, what's the history behind your organization, but actually what the requirements are to fulfill the services required in that opportunity. So in that contract, whenever any of these contracts are published, which we publish every single day, you always have a list of requirements, so a criteria that every or any bidder needs to meet before they are considered for the next stage or the evaluation round, or to even win the contract and work with the government. There's always requirements. Most of the work I do is typically with social care agencies. So that's domiciliary care, supported living. Even if you're providing unregulated supports like housing support, within these contracts, there's always requirements. But the beauty about public procurement is that for the large part, for the most part, they all operate the same. So it doesn't matter if you provide IT services, telecoms, and washing machines, there will be a specification, a criteria that your business, your service, your products needs to have before it can be considered. That's the most important thing. So once you understand this, you now understand that before you lose or decide not to bid on this opportunity, you need to first of all see and read through what the requirements are. There are various ways to do this, but let's keep it simple and use the files that are posted or published within the tender. So using social care as an example here, do you need a regulatory license? So does this opportunity need you to have CQC license, maybe an Ofsted license, maybe a care inspector license? But what are the regulatory licenses needed? If your business has that, that's what you tick. Maybe it needs a rating. Maybe it needs to have a CQC rating, not just a CQC registration, but it needs to be CQC inspected, and that rating maybe needs to be good. Do you have that? Do you not have that? Maybe it doesn't. You're good to go. Have you got a list of the maybe supporting documentation? So once you understand the regulatory requirements, maybe check the supporting documentations. If you've got the insurances required, in terms of supporting documentations, maybe you need to have case plans, upload evidence of a case plan. You need to have a care monitoring system and evidence of the care monitoring system you're using. Your training matrix. Point is, once you understand the requirements, if that's a regulatory requirements, supporting documentations, which I've already listed a few of them. Maybe there's office requirements there. If you're providing housing, maybe you need to upload evidence of, details of the house you're looking to supply to win that contract. And for that, you might need to upload the gas certificate, electrical certificates, HMO license if it's required. So this is irrespective of if your housing organization or your property business has been operating for 20 years. if you just set up business this week, and to get that contract, you need to be able to supply X amount of rooms that have all these requirements, and you can provide XYZ services and evidence that you can provide XYZ services to a high standard within your bid, then that is the most important thing you need to consider. Yes, like I said, there's always exceptions. You may have opportunities that are required to have certain, even certifications. That might take you a bit longer to get. But once you have that certification, even if it takes you 2-3 years, that is the most important thing, to get that certification to utilize in the bid, because that's what they've asked for. So if you're a new business owner, again, emphasizing, the most important thing is for you to look at the requirements of that contract or that tender or whatever the case is. What the government actually need from bidders. If you have that, even if a significant one, for example, is always the finances. Sometimes they might ask you to upload 2 years account. You need to be operating for at least 2 years in some cases. But even in those cases, will also most likely always provide alternative options for you to consider, which are geared for new startups that have been operating for less than 2 years. So again, if you look at the alternative requirements or alternative documentation, and your business has that or can provide that, then that is the most important thing. And for the most part, that is all you need to do. So do not have the idea that you're not going to win a contract or you can't work with this government on this to provide this service because you just set your business up today or last year or 2 months ago. Then there's absolutely nothing that stops you from winning that contract. If you could, like I said, provide all that's needed, even in the bid itself, demonstrate that you can deliver the services that are required. However you need to do that, if it's in your responses, if it's in your evidencing, however you need to do that, demonstrate that your business can actually deliver the services required. This is assuming now you understand what's involved to provide XYZ services. So you understand there's requirements anyway to provide these services. It's going to be no different from you simply sharing the requirements to the government that evidences that your business has been set up to provide these services to a high standard. This is the main focus. Leave a comment if you have any questions or there's potentially any other myths or misconceptions or things you have doubts about. I'm going to make a full YouTube covering exactly that, because as a small business, we absolutely need to be bidding on government opportunities, even as a large organization. We all need it if your business can provide its services to the government. Make sure you're also subscribed. There's more videos coming out every single week.